Okay, guys, we're back again. Let us continue with the creation of the URLs for our weekly planner application, right? And as you can see, there are no URLs in this file, so we have to create one. So we just right-click and say new file, or you can just say new file urls.py, right? And there we go. We have our URLs, and then I'm going to import an important library. It's going to be from Django.urls import our path, right? And I don't need all of that. I just need this, okay? And then I'm going to say it's going to be URL, not URLs, URL patterns. Yes, thank you for helping me. And it's going to be a list, and I'm going to create a path. And yeah, all right. So essentially, if we could look at how the project URLs look like. So we have a path, and this path is to an admin, and we'll see this later on. And you see this is the function, right? The admin function, and it executes something with the URLs, right? So let's look at our URLs that we just created. So let's create, remember we're trying to create a weekly planner. So let's create, if we were to enter Monday into our application, right? Now, that's the URL path, right? So if we look at our, where is it now? Our Django server, right? This is our server, right? So whenever this thing sees Monday, we want some function to be executed, right? And then to input that function, or to make sure that this URL pattern is associated with that function, we are going to write the function here. However, I just realized that we have not created that function. So let's now go back to our views, right? And we start creating our views, right? From there. Now, I think we should have started with this, but it doesn't matter. So here's our views, and we already have some boilerplates over there, right? And then we can start. I want to create our first view, and which is common practice, let's just call it the index. When you are dealing with the websites, usually the first landing page that you see, or I want to say landing page, but the first page that you land on is usually the index page. So how that works, I'm going to define, and the name of the function is index, and it's going to take in a request, right? And it's going to return let's say an HTTP response, right? And as you can see, I have to import that. And then to import that, you need to go up here and say from Django.http import HTTP response, right? And there we go, okay? So always remember that. See how Django is so helpful. Now you can just call a module and you can import the HTTP response. So now this is just a tester. This view works, right? Okay, cool. So now let's go back to our URLs, and then to access these functions, we can import it and into our Python file. And remember how you do that in Python. I want to say from, essentially from, since this in this folder, I'm going to say from this folder should be dot import, right? Views, right? Okay. So essentially that this dot notation is saying from here, look for views, and it's going to see the views, right? And then there we go. And I want to execute the index view dot index views, right? So now remember, and this is a function, right? Remember, you probably used to coin a function, right? No, we're not going to call it here. We're just going to point to it, right? And so let me just save. I don't think that our server is still running. Great. Our server is still running, as you can see. And then we still have our virtual environment activated. Great. So now we've created our first URL pattern. Now, what needs to happen is I need to let the project know about this URL, right? So I have to go into the project folder, and then from there, I have to let it know that we have an application, and I'm going to say path, right? And our application is called weekly planner. Okay, and there we go. So whenever it sees this application or this pattern in our URL, it's going to know that we're dealing with the weekly planner app. And then we have something called include, right? We have to include all the URLs in our application. And to do that, we just add include over here, and then our application name, which is weekly planner dot URLs, right? So that's essentially telling Django to import the URLs from our weekly planner application. Okay, there you go. Now, as you can see, we have an error here. So I'm just gonna save and to try and restart our server. If not, seems like it might be frozen. Nevertheless, we can continue. And then let's try put our URL weekly planner. And as you can see, our server is down. So let's tell this terminal, and then let's activate it. So it's going to be Python manage.py run our server, right? Great. So our server is back on. And let's try and okay, great. So we're having an error saying page not found. The request URL was not found. The current path weekly planner does not match any of the URL patterns. And let's just see if I put this there, will that work? Great, it doesn't work. So now why is that working? Okay. Have we registered our application? So if we look, okay, yes, we have done that. So now let's go to settings. And we have to let Django know that we have an application called Weekly Planner, right? And this is a list, and I save that. And I think we should just have this on the side, and this like that. Let me rearrange this a bit. Okay. And if we run this Weekly Planner, that's not working. So let's look at that. URLs, Monday path. Yes. Yes, that's what we're supposed to have. And then what's all URLs here? Have we included it? Weekly planner. Let's just check what's going on. Yeah. So we have not actually called a view for this URL. Right, let's see if we put in, we haven't called a view for this, just weekly planner, but what we have called a view for is for Monday. So weekly planner / Monday. So let's see that. And we should get something back. And great. There we go. So that works. So this view works. So that's how you create a view essentially in Python in Django rather, using the URL. And let's try something else. Let's try another URL, and it's going to be path Tuesday, and in the function name, I think we should have something called define Tuesday, right? So we'll have a Tuesday. So when we'll have a function or a view specific for Tuesday. So when the user enters the URL path for Tuesday, they should say these are something like these are the tasks for Tuesday, right? And now we have to connect this view to our URL, okay? And then to do that, we say wait views dot Tuesday, right? And then we save this, and hopefully that is fine, great. And then let's change this to Tuesday. And we should see something. Ooh, no, we don't. Okay, can you see why? This is why, that's not how you spell Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Save that, and we run. These are the tasks for Tuesday, all right? So now that we created this two views and URLs, I think we should try creating some more dynamic URLs, right? Because we can't have like, let's say this was not just a weekly planner, and this was for like every single day of the year. Would you now create like 365 functions just to handle that task? That's going to be quite tedious. All right, so let's create like dynamic URLs. Cool. So Django allows us to have, you hear me? Django allows us to have placeholders, right? That we can use with our URLs, right? So instead of having these hard-coded URLs for each, what am I doing? Instead of having these hard-coded URLs for each day, Python allows us to do something like this, path, and then we have some like